Hey guys, today we're going to talk about Hollyland's latest wireless lavalier microphone, the very small Lark M2S, and I'm also going to pit it against its larger brother. I can't even believe I'm saying larger brother, the Lark M2, because prior to the release of this thing, this was one of the tiniest lavalier microphones in the market, and now it's the larger brother. But anyways, we're going to see what this sounds like, how it compares to this. Let's find out more. So you're listening to me right now through the Lark M2S, which you can see over here. Very subtle, very small, no logos, no distractions, and I absolutely love it. This is the raw audio coming out of the Lark M2S. I'm using the camera module connected to the hot shoe of my Sony a6700. And as I said, this is the raw audio, no post-production, no editing, no nothing. In the second part of the review, however, I will do some post-production work so you can hear what the potential of this microphone is, what it could sound like with some EQ work and post-production work. And in just a few seconds, I'm going to also attach the Lark M2S, and throughout the review, I'm going to alternate between both microphones so you can hear how they sound, if similar or different. Now, what I'm going to do when I collect the Lark M2 is disconnect the camera module over here, because that's going into my camera, as I said, with a 3.5mm cable. And instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect both microphones via the iPhone USB-C receivers. And the reason I'm going to do that is to minimize variables. So the quality of the audio that you'd be hearing depends as well on what equipment you've used to record it. And with cameras, different cameras have different preamps, which may result in a different audio quality. So to minimize the variables as much as possible and to have an apples to apples comparison, I'm going to use the USB-C iPhone receivers on both microphones. So let's do that. So as you can see, I have both microphones right now, the Lark M2 and the M2S. And I'm recording on both iPhones using the iPhone receiver. Keep an eye on the bottom of the screen. That will show you what microphone you're currently listening to as I alternate between the Lark M2 and the M2S. And a quick disclaimer, this is not a sponsored video. I was not paid by Hollyland. I was not even sent the microphones for free. I did purchase them with my own money. I had the Lark M2 and I've been using that for a while and I absolutely love it. And I just purchased the Lark M2S to see how it compares. So let's start by taking a look at the cases. Interesting enough, the case of the Lark M2S over here is slightly larger than that of the older M2, but the M2 has a more rectangular and I would say dated look, where the M2S has a more modern look with more rounded and less sharp edges. Open these cases up and you see the microphones and the receivers in the box. Now, one of the things I love about the M2S over here, which was actually one of my complaints against the Lark M2, is that there's a place over here to stow the camera receiver, but also a place over here to store the iPhone one. Whereas with the Lark M2, you had to carry that separately. Now, this is the older Lightning receiver, and as you can see, there's nowhere to store it over here, whereas with the Lark M2S you can store both the camera one and the USB-C one over here, and all you need to do is carry this case, which is nice. Now, the combo version of the Lark M2 did come with the camera receiver, but then another one with a Lightning port and a third one with a USB-C port. The Lark M2 combo only comes with the camera receiver and one USB-C receiver for the newer iPhones. They do give you, however, a USB-C to Lightning cable in case you have an older iPhone and you still want to use that. So now let's take a look at the camera receivers. Again, you see the same design philosophy over here. The Lark M2 is boxy and angular, where the M2S has a more, I would say, modern design and has smoother, rounded corners. Also, this was the gain control on the Lark M2, and it's now much smaller, in my opinion, much more sleek as well. You have 3 levels of gain, which you cannot see right now because they're not connected. But once these receivers are connected, you can see which gain level you have on with the 3 LED lights over here. And over here, you have 2 LED lights to show you which of the 2 transmitters is connected. When they're solid blue, it means that's the transmitter that's connected. And then if you press the noise cancellation button, they turn green to let you know the noise cancellation is activated. On the one side, they have the 3.5mm input. This is how you would connect them to your cameras, but they also have a USB-C input over here, which you can use to charge these, but also you can, via USB-C cable, connect them to any USB-C device, be it your phone or your laptop or your iPad or whatnot. Now let's take a look at the transmitters or the microphones themselves. They do have a different approach. Prior to the release of the M2S, the M2 was one of the smallest, if not the smallest, microphones. It uses magnets to connect your shirt, whereas the new Lark M2S does not. Instead, you clip it on your shirt. And for the record, this small thing is the microphone, not this, which is probably housing the battery and other circuitry. And with this approach, you get a more secure fit. So if you're doing action sports and whatnot, it's a more secure fit than having a magnetic connection. But you also get a way less obtrusive microphone. As you can see, the size difference is just ridiculous. And although the Lark M2 is quite small, in comparison, the M2S is way smaller. And one of the things I really appreciate with Hollyland, the traditional lavalier mics have huge branding and brand logos just displayed on the microphones. Think of the Rode, for example, which has this huge logo. Hollyland, even with the Lark M2, understands that you might not want to advertise logos. This is why they give you stickers with the Lark M2, which you can stick on top of the logo and cover it up. And as you can see over here, I have the black sticker on to hide the logo, and it blends really well with my black shirt. With the M2S, because it's even smaller, there's literally no logo to be displayed or even hidden. Another nice thing, one of the very minor complaints I had against the Lark M2, you can see the LED light over here, which could be a little bit distracting. It's not a deal breaker, but in my review of the Lark M2, I said I wish the LED light was on top so that it's not visible on camera. Well, with the Lark M2S, there's no LED light over here. Instead, it's going to be on the hidden part, which is going to be inside your shirt, and therefore it is not visible at all on camera, which is great. Another nice upgrade with the Lark M2, and if you're using two microphones to record, you cannot separate the left and right microphones to record on separate channels if you are using USB-C. So if you're connected via USB-C, you're going to get both microphones mixed into the same channel. You can get the stereo separation if you're using the 3.5mm input. On the Lark M2S, I'm happy to report that you can now get stereo separation on both the 3.5mm, but also if you're recording via USB-C, which is great. So now let me show you the noise cancellation on this. I'm on the street, there are cars behind me, and I have it turned off. Let me turn it on. And I just turned on noise cancellation. I'm sure you hear a big difference with the noise cancellation on. But with this test, became apparent a small design limitation with the mounting options of the M2S. Let me turn off noise cancellation again. So this is with the noise cancellation turned off. There's a plane passing by over here. Let me turn it on again. So this is with noise cancellation on. I hope you were able to hear a difference with the noise cancellation on and off. And as I was saying with this test, a small design limitation became apparent with the Lark 2S in how you mount it. So if you're wearing a dress shirt, you can easily clip it between your buttons. If you're wearing a t-shirt or a polo, you can do it on the collar. But if you're wearing a high collar garment or a jacket, which you want to zip up all the way, then you're quite limited in how you can mount it. So I have it mounted over here, as you can see, but this means I cannot zip the jacket all the way up if I wanted to. Now, if you're wearing any headgear, you could mount it over here. In theory, it works, as you can hear, though I don't think it's an ideal placement to be mounted here, but it could be an option. I do have a suggestion to Hollyland on how they could have improved the mounting of the Lark M2S. I don't think they're gonna listen to my suggestion or even care, but let me tell you about that as I switch to the Lark M2 so you can hear the noise cancellation difference between the M2 and the M2S. So now I'm on the Lark M2, noise cancellation is off, let me turn it on, and this is with noise cancellation on. And as you can see, it's much easier to clip the Lark M2 on your chest when you're wearing something like a jacket with that magnetic connection, which brings me to my suggestion to Hollyland, to their product team, if they're listening. If they had made the back of the M2S magnetic and given us a clip like they do with the Lark M2, this would have opened up much more versatile mounting options in the absence of the ability to just simply clip it like it's intended. Now, yes, I understand mounting it like this might not be the prettiest. Also, it beats the point of having this very small microphone, I understand, but let's be real, we have for many years normalized mounting microphones that were this big on our chests. The M2S, even if you mount this entire thing on your chest, it's still almost the same size as the Lark M2, which is pretty small. So while it might not be ideal, I would very much rather be able to mount it all like this on my chest than not be able to mount it at all. So just a suggestion to Hollyland, if they're listening, perhaps something to keep in mind for their next iteration of the M2S. So that's it for me. Let me know in the comments section what you thought about the Lark M2S and which one you thought sounded better or which one you would buy. Personally, the Lark M2 is my favorite wireless lavalier microphone because of its really small size and how it's inconspicuous compared to other larger wireless lavalier mics. And to be honest, with the Lark M2S, which is even smaller and even more inconspicuous, this might now be my favorite wireless lavalier microphone. Thanks for watching. I will put links in the description to the product pages of both microphones. If you do decide to buy any of these microphones, I would appreciate if you would go through my links. These are affiliate links. I may earn some commission on some purchases at absolutely no extra cost to you, but this will greatly help support the channel. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, as this encourages me to continue producing content. Until next time, cheers.